Mr. Trump, I'm trying to work with you. I'm trying to work with you, man, but hello, good people. It is Todd Shannon, data scientist, social commentator, getter of buckets. And what are we talking about today? Mr. Donald J. I'm going to say his name today because, I can't be tiptoeing around the YouTube censors and the overlords forever. Listen, it is what it is. They don't like when we talk about him, but we're going to talk about him today. But today we're going to talk about good Trump and bad Trump, okay? And I just got to get this out there. Some of you have come to my channel and you've seen me. I've talked very highly about Vivek Ramaswamy, and I've talked about Trump, and some of you might be confused. You say, well, who are you for? Are you for Trump? Are you for Vivek? And if I seem schizophrenic about Donald J. Trump, that's because I am, okay? Because it's almost impossible not to be schizophrenic about Donald J. Trump. You almost have to have what we call in data science a Bayesian approach to Donald Trump, which is to say that given the previous conditions, you have to update your beliefs. You really do, because every time Donald Trump is in front of a camera, he has a chance to be brilliant, and then he also has a chance to be awful. That's just the trade-off, right? That's who he is. We're just hoping and praying that he does more good things than bad things. But this interview that Donald Trump did with NBC, with Kristen Welker, is a prime example of this. And they had an extensive conversation about baby deletion that I have to say, there were times where I was like, that's a good point. And there are other times where it was cringe city. So we're going to listen to this interview and we're going to react to it because Donald Trump showed the good, the bad, and the ugly in this interview.
A lot of voters all across the country. Just this week, women in Idaho and Tennessee, I don't know if you saw this, filed suit against their state saying their lives were put at risk after they were denied abortion services because their state's restrictive laws put in place after Roe was overturned. So my question for you, Mr. President, is how is it acceptable in America that women's lives are at risk, doctors are being forced to turn away patients in need, or risk breaking the law?
Okay, so I'm gonna bring you back in here on this because this question, now normally Trump does pretty good, and I'm gonna deviate from Trump just a little bit. I'm gonna focus on her. It is incredible to me how many people are being interviewed that let these Democrat operatives get away with these absolutely idiotic premises. She just said something that was so stupid and without merit. It's incredible to me that Donald Trump didn't respond to it. And I think I have an idea why he didn't respond to it because, generally speaking, he goes on the offense and he attacks whenever someone is attacking him personally or if he feels like someone is attacking his credibility. But when people say things from a logical or philosophical standpoint that just isn't quite there, he doesn't quite catch it. I think I don't know if he just didn't catch it or he's just not interested in attacking those points. But this is where him and Vivek differ quite a bit because Vivek is clever, right? He's sharp. And in the moment when you say something that's contradictory, he will catch it. But notice this woman is saying that some women are filing suit because their lives were in danger because they couldn't delete their children. In what world is a woman's life in danger because she can't end the life of her child? I mean, this is so stupid and bizarre. It's amazing to me that Donald Trump didn't respond to that. It's like, what are you talking about? The whole thing is bogus on its face. And this just shows you the nature of these interviewers and the fact that they are activists and not journalists. So Kristen Welker, you take a major L for that because that's not a real thing, okay? But let's get back to it.
A little bit of a long answer. I hope you have time.
I hope you have time. Okay. I'm here for as long as you have.
So you have Roe v. Wade. For 52 years, people, including Democrats, wanted it to go back to states so that states could make the right. Roe v. Wade, I did something that nobody thought was possible, and Roe v. Wade was terminated, was put back to the states. Now, people, pro-lifers, have the right to negotiate for the first time. They had no rights at all. Because the radical people on this are really the people, the Democrats, that say after 5 months, 6 months, 7 months, 8 months, 9 months, and even after birth, you're allowed to terminate the baby.
Okay, so first of all, this is good Trump. Okay, this is good Trump because what he's saying is 100% correct. Now, she asked him a question that put him on his heels. And as the saying goes, if you're explaining, you're losing, right? So she says, how is it acceptable in this country that women have to be blah, 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 right? All of this nonsense. And he says, no, you know who the radicals are? Not the people who want to put limits on baby deletion, but the people who want to have any and all abortions for any reason. And I said the magic word, baby deletions. The real radicals are the people who want any and all baby deletions legal and available for any reason. And those are the people who are, one flew over the cuckoo's nest, as it were. So he's going on offense. And this is good Trump. And this is exactly the way you should handle these questions. You shouldn't be explaining, you should be attacking and going on offense. Good Trump. Now, watch Kristen Welker decide that she's going to block and tackle being the Democrat operative that she is.
Saying that. I just have to, Democrats are not saying that.
Of course
That's
they do.
Not true.
You have a Virginia governor, previous governor, who said after the baby is born, you will make a determination, and if you want, you will kill that baby. The baby is now born.
Democrats writ large are not talking about that. Only 1%.
Okay, now what she is saying is simply a lie. It's simply a lie. And this is how you know it's a lie. There's a simple question you can ask that puts it to rest right away. If what you're saying is true, if Democrats don't want that, if they don't want unlimited baby deletion up to 9 months, then tell me, who is the person who's saying what the cutoff is? What's their name? What's the Democrat proposing legislation that this time is too far? Just the other day, Kamala Harris was being pressed on this very issue. And they asked her over and over and over again, well, what's the cutoff? What's the cutoff? She wouldn't answer. You know why she wouldn't answer? Because there is no cutoff. And these people are dishonest. So Kristen Welker, this is amazing to me that she's literally lying, deciding that she's going to block and tackle for the Democrats and make up a false standard. There's a simple, and this is another thing that really irks me about these interviews. It's like, many years ago, Christians would go on these like mainstream radio and these mainstream outlets, and every single time they would ask, "Hey, is it a sin to be gay?" Right? They asked that question every single time, and every time a Christian got asked that question, they act like they were surprised to get the question. I was like, did Mr. Trump not know that they were going to ask him about something like this? He should have had something prepared, right? Something to go on offense. Now, normally he's pretty good with that, but on this one, I feel like he missed an opportunity. So not terrible. So this is, so far we got good to okay Trump, right? So I'm not going to kill him too much, but she's just lying. And all he had to do to expose that was just say, okay, well then tell me who the Democrat is that's proposing the limit. What's the limit? Can you give me a name of one person? Okay.
Of late-term abortions happen always in the state of
They are
crisis.
the radical people because nobody wants to see abortion after 5 months and 6 months and 7 months. And now it gave people that believe in pro-life. Look, just so you understand, it's pretty much 50-50. It's a 50-50 issue. Amazing. If you look at the charts, it's been 49-51. It's been like that for many years. Goes both ways. 51, both ways.
Okay, now, he's wrong about this, all right? So he went from good Trump. Now we're going to see here what bad Trump looks like, because this is pretty bad.
Where everybody comes together.
Does it bother you, though, that women say their lives are being put at risk? Do you feel you bear any responsibility?
Going on for a long time, and it's a very polarizing issue. Because of what's been done, and because of the fact we brought it back to the states, we're going to have people come together on this issue. They're going to determine the time, because nobody wants to see 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 months. Nobody wants to see abortions when you have a baby in the womb. I said with Hillary Clinton when we had the debate, I made a statement, rip the baby out of the womb in the 9th month, you're allowed to do that, and you shouldn't be allowed to do that.
Again, no one is
again,
arguing
Kristen,
for that. That's
look,
not a part of anyone's.
She's lying.
Look,
Mr.
the
President.
Democrats are able to kill the baby after birth.
Let me talk to you.
Nobody wants that.
Democrats don't want that.
So
either.
we're
But
going to come together.
I want to know what you want. I want to know what you're going to do if you're
We
reelected.
are going to come
Would you sign
together.
federal legislation that would ban abortion at 15 weeks?
No, let me just tell you what I do. I'm going to come together with all groups, and we're going to have something that's acceptable. Right now, to my way of thinking, the Democrats are the radicals, because after 4 and 5 and 6 months, but you have to say this, after birth. You have New York State and other places that pass legislation where you're allowed to kill the baby after birth.
Mr. President, I want to give voters.
Okay, so he came back to that, which was fine, but he's being a little evasive here. But it gets. I understand why he's trying to avoid answering it directly, but he gets pretty bad here.
Who are going to be weighing in on this election?
Yeah.
A very clear sense of where
I think
you stand on
I think
this.
they're all going to like me. I think both sides are going to like me.
What's
What's going to have to happen is you're going to have to. Listen,
please.
you're asking me a question. What's going to happen is you're going to come up with a number of weeks or months. You're going to come up with a number that's going to make people happy, because 92% of the Democrats don't want to see abortion after a certain period of time.
If a federal ban landed on your desk, if you were reelected, would you sign it at 15
Are you
weeks?
talking about a complete ban?
A ban at 15 weeks?
Well, people are starting to think of 15 weeks. That seems to be a number that people are talking about right now.
Would you sign that?
I would sit down with both sides and I'd negotiate something, and we'll end up with peace on that issue.
No, there will not be peace on the issue. There can be progress, but not peace. Okay, this issue is not going to be over until it is completely illegal or there are no restrictions. That's the only side. That's the only way either one of these sides will be happy, because people who don't want abortion, people who understand that it is a life issue, that people in the womb have rights. Okay, there's no time limit on when their rights start or when they end. Okay, so he's quite literally trying to split the baby, and this is incorrect. And this is where he starts to step in it.
For the first time in 52 years, I'm not going to say I would or I wouldn't. I mean, DeSantis is willing to sign a 5-week and 6-week ban.
Would you support that? You think that
I
goes
think what
too
he
far?
did is a terrible thing and a terrible mistake.
Okay. Mr. Trump, I'm trying to work with you. I'm trying to work with you, man. But when you say that a governor who stands for life in the womb is doing something terrible, that's dumb. Okay? This is why I can't ever be totally comfortable on the Donald Trump train. Now, I have said many times that the real reason why I think Donald Trump should be president here in the next cycle is because what the Democrats have done to him is so wrong that we have to send a message that that sort of stuff is not going to work. You can lie, cheat, and steal, but if they are rewarded for their nefarious deeds, they will never stop. And this is why I think that it would be better overall for Mr. Trump to win that second term. But this stuff right here makes me cringe. It really does. It really makes me look at. I'm not really a fan of Ron DeSantis, but you know what? This could be the sort of issue that makes me lean one way or the other if he continues to talk this way, because this is bad. Okay, as a Christian, as a pro-life person, I don't like anyone saying anything to the effect of, it's a terrible thing to protect life in the womb. No, it's not.
But we'll come up with a number, but at the same time, Democrats won't be able to go out in 6 months, 7 months, 8 months and allow an abortion. And Kristen, you have to look at this because you said no. You have some states that are allowed to kill the child after birth, and you can't allow that.
But, Mr. President, again, no one is calling for a child to be killed after birth. No one's calling for that.
But you have legislation.
But let me just ask you.
Kristen, you have legislation in certain states where it's allowed.
Mr. President.
The governor of Virginia, previous governor, who was a whack job. I call him the Michael Jackson governor.
No one's talking about that
governor,
as part of their platform. I want to know what
that governor said you can kill the baby after birth.
But Mr. President, this is about what you would do.
Okay, so now we circle back to good Trump, because this is the one area where Trump distinguishes himself. He doesn't allow her to say something that is false. She keeps trying to stop him, and he won't let it go. This is good. This is how you have to be aggressive when people make these false claims and when these interviewers decide they're going to block and tackle for the Democrats. He doesn't allow that, right? And this is a stark contrast to what Ron DeSantis did, which I will cover in another video. But this is the main thing. Donald Trump in 2024, I believe, will be a net positive, right? But this sort of stuff, when him talking about abortion the way he's talking about it, it makes me sad. It really does. It really does make me sad. It makes me nervous. And Donald Trump is really showing you where he's weak, because notice he said when he was talking to Kristen, he said, I'm going to come up with something and everyone's going to like me. Everyone's going to like me. And you can tell that that's kind of his motivation, right? This is the, we talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly with Donald Trump. He wants to try to find something that where everyone is happy, he wants to broker a deal, right? He's like, oh, this is a deal. I'm going to broker a deal. This is not you don't understand. These are about people's sincerely held beliefs, right? And because he himself does not have strong convictions on this issue, he's simply trying to be a mediator. And I think from a principle standpoint, I think that that's not good. It could work to some advantage, because he will try to find some sort of happy medium that will give everyone a little bit of something, but nobody's going to get everything they want. But this whole idea where he's going to broker the deal and everyone's going to like him, I think that's a little delusional. I think it's a little bit self-serving, to be quite frank. Quite frankly, if I say it like Donald J. Trump, quite frankly, I think it's a little delusional. It's just quite, whatever. That's a terrible Trump. But you get my point. Anyway, I'm just curious what your thoughts are, friends. I know the whole Trump thing, it's like a roller coaster, but I do want to get behind him, because I think net, he's going to be a great candidate. But it's it's difficult to remain consistent. If you feel the same way, let me know why. Okay, put it in the comments. Let me know if I'm wrong, or or maybe you want to tell me, hey, I should be on Ron DeSantis, or I should be on Vivek Ramaswamy, that we should be off Trump. Let me know what you think. Okay, I'm happy to hear it. Make a comment. If you like this content, please like, share, and subscribe. And make sure you hit the bell to get notifications, because as I can tell you, I can promise you that this sort of content will often get suppressed by the YouTube algorithms, by the overlords. So you may not see this good content if you want to see it in the future. So make sure you hit that notification bell. Till next time, friends, God bless you.